Chapter 11, Break It Down, Understanding Fracture Patterns. You ever heard the saying of when life gives you broken rocks, make mineralogy? Yeah, me neither, we just kind of made that up. But that's what this chapter's all about, fractures, and not just the kinds that you get when you stumble and fall and break something in your body. Body rocks, that's all bones are. This chapter is going to summarize how a specimen breaks, either by nature or by hammer. Fractures are important to document on your homemade or our handy dandy worksheet that comes with your book or your ebook, and that supports these learning lessons. If I haven't mentioned it, link in the bio. Anyways, so fractures are super important, just like cleavage and crystal structure and things of that nature, in identifying a rock or mineral. Just as a quick summary, a mineral is a single item. A rock is a composition of minerals. That's the only difference. And so in your investigation, you might not know if you have a rock or a mineral yet. That's part of this whole discovery. So fractures can tell us about the specimen's performance in nature and how long it'll last and how it breaks down as it breaks down. So what you're going to need is your eyes, and if your specimen does not have a fracture in it, you need some eye protection, your specimen, and a hammer. Now, if you don't have multiple specimens or you don't want to destroy your specimen, you can just observe it. You don't have to take a hammer to it. You also need some good lighting, sometimes some magnification as well. So this is how it works. We're going to look at our specimen, and we're going to observe for one of the 5-6 most common fractures. Conchoidal, meaning shell-like. Root word is conch, or shell. And so you can remember a shell-like fracture. It's going to have those little C-shapes like glass has, but also things like cryptocrystalline quartz that you find on the beach, which is a good indicator of toughness. Might look like you took and jammed your fingernail into it a bunch. I talk about this on my rock finding TikToks. Fibrous or splintery, which I did not want to bring into my office because often they are dusty and can be dangerous, like asbestos. Hackly. So you see that metal? It's how metal tears apart and forms. It's a very rough, rugged, torn kind of fracture to a rock. Earthy, which is like clay and chalk, where it just kind of breaks apart. Very friable texture, meaning that it's easy to essentially crumble. It's a crumbly rock. Earthy. And then I have this great piece of chrysocolla to show you what an uneven fracture looks like. Now, most of our gemstone materials that we work with, that'll be hard enough to cut and polish and to essentially manhandle enough to either make into a display or jewelry, are going to have an uneven or a conchoidal fracture. Here's another example of a conchoidal fracture. This is an agate from Swazi Rose. This is an Oregon sunstone. Observe the conchoidal fracture. Okay, and then this is some chrysocolla from the Baghdad mine in Arizona. Notice its uneven and earthy structure. Almost every gemstone I have has one of those two fractures. The other fractures, like fibrous and splintery, malachite will show that. However, sometimes that fibrous, it doesn't hold together. You gotta bond it together. Tiger eye, even though it started as asbestos, will have even either an uneven or a conchoidal fracture because of the silica that's now in place in it. So when you're looking for stones to polish or to turn into jewelry, uneven or conchoidal fractures are going to be the majority of the candidates. An area might break unevenly, while another area has a big glassy shell-like or conchoidal fracture in it. We're going to go ahead and document that on your homemade or your handy-dandy specimen worksheet, which I provide you. Now, if you need to create a fracture, One way to do it is if it feels like the rock might like blow into a bunch of pieces, put it in a paper bag. Otherwise, we're just chipping an edge. We're just giving a little chipperoo. But make sure to wear your eye protection. Only consider taking a hammer to your specimen if you've already looked it over and you really can't determine if it's been fractured and you want to. I'm not going to tell you to smash your cool rocks unless, well, you want to. This is a rock I found in the field and I chipped, and it has a conchoidal or shell-like fracture. I honestly wish I hadn't chipped it by what's inside of it. Look what I did to it. So, awesome rock. It is a jasper. See those conchoidal or shell-like fractures there? And then this is polished, but sometimes you don't want to do that. I learned my lesson. When I see patterns like this, I don't chip them. That's it. Fracture's nothing more than broken rocks. So make sure to like my TikTok, follow me, do all the things, notifications, free book classes, link in the bio for the book, doing an ultimate bundle before Christmas if you see this then. Otherwise, sorry about the late advertisement. I'm sure we're still selling books. And thanks for your time. On to the next chapter.